Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome to my spoiler-free review of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. So this movie is directed by Gareth Edwards and stars Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Mads Mikkelsen, and a whole cavalcade of others. And like I said in my intro, this will be 100% spoiler-free. The spoiler-filled review will come later. So the basic story of this movie can be found in the opening crawl of Episode 4. In that, rebels steal the plans to the Death Star. What this movie does is show how the rebels got their hands on these plans. This movie is basically connecting 2 and 2 to make 4. Now, as far as Star Wars goes, I am a huge fan. I have all the movies on Blu-ray, I watched the Clone Wars series on Netflix, and I watched the Rebels series, which admittedly I have fallen behind on, but I will catch up. And I am reading a book right now on Ahsoka Tano. So I am a big Star Wars guy. And going into this particular movie, I was very excited because this is the very first spin-off from the original timeline. And if this movie does really well, this could open the door for many other spin-offs to come. So how was the movie? Well, it was really good, but it wasn't perfect. In a normal review, I would talk about my pros before I talk about my cons. But seeing as though this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, I figured I'd talk about the cons first before I talk about the pros. So let's talk about what I didn't like. Which, don't worry, it's not a lot. And what I don't like about this movie can be boiled down to simple nitpicking, but it's just stuff that I noticed that rubbed me the wrong way. For example, some of the CGI in the movie was not good. It's kind of obvious that some of these effects are that, effects. Another problem I have is that Darth Vader was severely underused. I'll talk about more of this, again, in the spoiler review, but let's just say, if you're going to use Darth Vader, use him. Don't have him in just a here and a there. Use him as the main villain. I just have the feeling that he was just there to be a draw. Which kind of leads to my biggest problem with this movie, is that really not all of these characters are that memorable. To be quite honest, I can't even remember most of their names. I know Jyn Erso, Kaysen, Krennic, K2SO, the Asian guy played by Donnie Yen, but that's about it. But before you turn this review off, please, hear me out. I just felt like the majority of some of these characters were just expendable income, like the red shirts from Star Trek. But now let's move on to the pros, which are actually quite a lot for me. And I know a little bit ago I said that some of the CG was pretty noticeable, but some of the CG was also pretty good. When the CGI was on like a ship, like a Star Destroyer, or the Death Star itself, or a planet, it was great. I also have to admit that I think this may be the best shot Star Wars movie that there is, because the cinematography in here is incredible. The only other movie I know Gareth Edwards for is the 2014 Godzilla, which I love because it captures the size of Godzilla really well. And in this movie, the size is perfectly captured. The planets feel like planets. They have clout. Everything feels weighty in this movie. And my favorite characters in the movie, hands down, are the Donnie Yen, K2SO, and Krennic. Krennic, I feel, is underappreciated in this movie because I feel like he has some really, really good moments. As well as K2SO, he had all of the best lines in the movie. And Donnie Yen had all of the best action scenes. I think this is some of the best action that has been shot in a Star Wars movie. So the bottom line is this. Even though that some of the CGI was noticeable, Darth Vader only got a couple of scenes, and some of the characters weren't exactly remarkable. We had K2SO, and some of the other side characters. Some of the CGI was really good, and the cinematography and the shooting of the action was astounding. In the end, I just have to say that this movie is a great movie with some very so-so parts. But I give it a very high recommendation, so go check it out. It'll take you back to a galaxy far, far away. And that is all from me. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned for Saturday when I release my spoiler-filled review of Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.